everybody, Danielle Pettiford here, and I want to tell you about this next episode. You do not want to miss it. We are talking about how to embrace your authentic voice. God created you fearfully, wonderfully made. You don't have to create anything. It's already within you. So I want you to tune into this episode and let me talk you through how to tap into the gifts that God has already gave you. Now, do me a favor. If you love anything that you hear during this podcast, do me a favor and share it with one other sister, one other wife that you know needs to tap into her authentic voice. I'll see you on the other side. Very excited about today's topic. Thank you for joining us. I want to share with the Sharecast. Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. Really excited about this topic. Because I know it's something that everybody struggles with, and that's our authenticity and how we show up in the world. And we struggle, most of us. I mean, you got some folks out here that are highly confident, but a lot of us really do struggle with our authenticity and discovering who we are and what is my voice and how am I supposed to show up in the world. So I want to start by saying thank you for those that are showing up and sticking to this process. We are a baby, and babies need a lot of milk and a lot of nurturing, right? But the scriptures say, do not grow weary in well doing, for in due time, right? And so I know that I think about how, the Lord showed up, and he would show up for the one, right? He'll show up for the one. So I'm coming to bring you a word today that is going to transform if you allow it to. And I'm trying to keep it in 45 minutes, and I will get passionate. So I see Janella's on here. So Janella, please text me and be like, girl, you're going too long if I'm going too long, because I get so passionate about these things. But the first thing I want to do is I just want you to know that we're going to do this, and we're going to try our best to get this done in 45 minutes so that you can get back to your life, to the loves of your life, to your family, and the things that you got to do, because it is Sunday. Okay. And my goal tonight is to give you some practical steps to help you find and embrace your authentic voice. All right. So if you want to begin to practice connecting more deeply with people and making that lasting impact that authenticity has the ability to do, then this is for you. And I want that for all of us. And I think that's what God wants to get to us and in us, is this Godfidence, right? This ability to show up and show out regardless, because it's authentically, uniquely, divinely you. Every time you encounter someone, they should feel blessed and better for having crossed paths with you than they did before. And that's our goal, but in your own authentic way. And we're going to get to that. So what I would love, because this is a lab, right? So we need to work. I want you to do me a favor. Eliminate all distractions for the next 45 minutes. Okay. Grab a notebook, get a pen, close the door. Okay. Holler right now. Holler. Don't nobody bother me for 45 minutes. This is what the stuff that I do. I'm telling you what I do. Like if I'm having my time, I'm working with my coach. I'm like, y'all don't bother me for 45 minutes. I'm busy. I'm unavailable. Let it be known. Right? Let's put some boundaries around space that we need so that we can grow. Okay? Because this message, if we allow it, it has the potential to transform how you see yourself and how you see your voice. All right? So don't let anything distract you, but have a pen, have a paper, and let's get into it. This is the thing, because the voice and that authenticity piece is huge for me. It's huge for most of us. It is probably everyone's biggest plight. Like, who am I and how am I supposed to show up? We all suffer from comparisons. And like many of you, I've struggled with my own doubts about my voice and how I'm supposed to show up in many different ways, right? There was a time, because I'm quite out the box right now, but there was a time when I tried to, fit into certain molds and follow the status quo. And it really wasn't until I began to embrace God's unique voice that he gave me that I truly began to connect with people. And it's interesting because the first experience that I had with that was when I was like 18. I think, and I was dating my first real boyfriend. And he was a late baby. So his mom was like, she was in her 60s and, we were in high school. So she was an older mom. And he was always, and he probably had a lot of parenting going on in his life. Like he had like 5 siblings that were older than him, and they were in their 30s and 40s and already had families. So he was kind of raised with his cousins, like they were siblings. Is that right? Or nieces and nephews, right? And so long story short is that he was always correcting me. He would always be like, oh, don't say that. See, my household, I grew up and things were very laxed. Okay. If y'all know my story, some of it. It was very laxed. So if my mother said, hey, Danny, I need you to come here. And I'll be like, huh? Okay. Yeah. Be right there. Very casual. We weren't formal. We didn't say mother and things of that nature. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I just wasn't raised that way. Right. And so he was always trying to stick me in the box. He was always saying things to me like, no, don't say it like that. Say it like this. Say it like what? Don't say huh, or don't say yeah. Say yes. Say yes, ma'am. So I was doing all these things, y'all. And it was just like, I just got smaller and smaller and smaller. And I was like in this cramped space, and the lady couldn't stand me. Like the way that when I would come into the room, she would ask me if I want something to eat. You want a plate? Yes, ma'am. I'm saying it how he want me to say it. And she would just be like, roll her eyes and walk away. And I'm like, why does this lady hate me? One day, y'all, I just couldn't take it anymore. And I was just like, you know what? She don't like me anyway. I may as well. I would much rather you not like me for me than you not like me for who I'm trying to be. That ain't me. Does that make sense? If that makes sense, if that resonates with you, give me some love in the chat, because it is so much better. Like, at least I know that it's you. We just don't jive. Like it's me or it's you, but we don't jive. It's not because I'm wearing a mask that isn't fitting. And so one day I just decided, that's it. Since she don't like me anyway, I'm just going to be me. And I came all the way out of my box. And if you've met me, I'm a pretty out of the box person. I mean, I'm going to hug on you. I'm going to grab on you. When I see you, it's like, you're my sister. That's my sister. Y'all heard that song? Like literally, for real. Like, that's how I feel. I'm grabbing you. I haven't seen you in the last, with boundaries, right? Because I've learned personality styles. And this is why I'm so infatuated by it, because I just love understanding people. I can understand a quiet person now like I never could. I understand somebody who's like, that's me, like I never could. And I understand people's boundaries. And so when you can read the room, you know how to show up with certain people. But I got to be me when I decided to do that. And let me tell y'all something, that lady fell in love with me, because I showed up as me. Now, did I need to be crazy and disrespectful? I learned how to speak to her in my own way that resonated with her, read the room, right? But I was no longer smushing myself or being smushed into a box of control or fitting into a mold that looks like somebody's ideal. I was able to just be myself. And that's when that relationship began to bloom. And that lady was like, where's Danielle? When is Danielle coming over? Danielle. We get to do the same thing. Now I want you to imagine you leading, building relationships, and navigating your life clear. You have clarity. You have confidence. You know your voice, and it resonates with truth and authenticity, confidence, Godfidence. And you think, like, resonates with who? Like, who do I need to resonate with? Nope. It should resonate with you, because God made you. God created you. He put all that in you, all that crazy, all that extra that people say, oh, you're so extra. She's too much. Or she's so quiet. She ain't interesting. Whatever it is, God made you. And as long as you remain the clay that's moldable and pliable in the master's hands, you are on your way to becoming his masterpiece. And you just need to give yourself over to that and be willing. You need to be able to put blinders on and be like, I don't care what it looks like, left, right, I don't care. This is what God said, and this is me. Y'all know that song? This is one of my favorite songs. I should have played it. And The Greatest Showman, This Is Me. Oh, I love that song. I'm a musical girl, though. I love musicals. But if you, that could be a mantra. This is me. If you don't know that song, y'all, I'm gonna send it. I'm gonna put a link because y'all need to hear the song. It's so inspiring. But you want to be God's masterpiece, don't you? Write this down. If you got your pens, if you're a good student, you should have a pen and notebook, and you should be like, right now. And I want you to write down, your authentic voice isn't something you need to create. It's not something that you need to create, right? We're always trying to create. I need to create my image. What's my look? You know, people doing this now. I see it. This is old, but oh, well, I can't get the flower. I had a flower, but you know, people just, okay, this is my signature. This is my signature thing. Or, you know, whatever it's going to be. You don't have to create it. It's only something that you need to uncover. Stop trying to create your authentic voice. It's there already. It's you. You just need to uncover it. And we've been working on this for a while through Unearthed, right? Working on discovery, right? Unearthing, you know, pulling all the rubble and stuff off of us so that we have clarity, so that we can release some things and let some things go. But at the end of the day, I need to uncover what God already gave me, not create. So I want to give you 3 secrets that we're going to work through today, and you will need your pen and paper to help you clarify and really get busy practicing this in your life, because it's practice. And that's what I was saying earlier. I said, if you want to begin to practice authenticity, then this is for you, because literally this is practice. You have to practice it and implement it in your life, because the reality is there are moments that we all have where we want to come out of the box, whatever the box is, right, that you're in. It might be that we want to express an opinion or something and we don't, or we want to, you know, there's somebody that we know that they just need to hear this word from you, and you've been holding it because of all these different ideas that you have created, false ideas. And what we want to do, just like what we studied in Unearth, is we want to begin to tell the truth about things and then begin to become actionable about the clarity that we have. It's one thing for us to be like, okay, now that I know that I don't have to be out here creating this personality to keep up with the Joneses or to keep up with the this and the that and the third. I need to show up as my authentic self. Okay, now that I know that I need to do that, and that's the truth. Okay, what does that look like in my everyday moves and shakes? And that's where we get to practice, because we're always in opposition. We're like opposing this inner defying caricature on the inside. I had before we jump into these secrets, I'm going to share with you 3. So get ready for that. Today, and this is also a testimony and just a blessing of God. I was on the phone with a producer who is going to interview me on Tuesday. What an amazing thing. You just never know who's following you. I don't have a gazillion followers, y'all. So when you're out here doing whatever you're doing on social media, please don't be dismayed by numbers. I learned a long time ago that the impact of those numbers is minimal, really, because a lot of times people have lots and lots of followers, but they're not paying attention. It's really the people that God sends to you that need to hear what you need to say. Well, this producer, it was interesting, her testimony. She was sharing with me that she had an academic trauma. And I was like, tell me more about that. Because, you know, we think about emotional trauma, physical trauma, marital trauma, sexual trauma, academic trauma. The academic trauma was that she was in college. She wanted to be a lawyer and all these different things. And she ended up having a professor, basically, who was like some high collegiate professor, highly respected writer, guru person, basically told her that she has a writing disability and that she should just quit. Like, you're never going to be able to complete this undergrad or graduate program. You may as well just, you know, fold them, shut it down now, because you're not a writer. And so for years, she was crippled by that, because this person was acclaimed. This person, every time she wrote anything, she went from like a pretty decent student to like C, D student because her writing was not acceptable to this person, and it shut her down. And it wasn't until years later, because now she's a producer, she's on news channels, she's writing for different columns, NBC, MSNBC, she's on newspaper, she's doing a lot of things reporting wise and all that. But at the time, she had a boyfriend that was like, why aren't you writing? Like, what is your problem? Like, you need to get back out here and do these things. And she shared her trauma. And he was just like, she said he laughed. Are you kidding? You are like one of the most phenomenal writers ever. And this guy who she was dating was actually also a great writer in the industry and everything. He said, all you do is put too many commas. Like, so that was the word she needed to just give it another try. She went ahead and graduated. And I mean, now she's producing and writing and doing all the things. And I said, that just blows my mind. How many of us here in this live have had somebody say something to us that stumped us so bad that we went dead in the tracks? Like, we just stopped. It literally stole our motivation, our desire, our drive, and it was a lie the entire time. And we carried it around all those years, unaware that this single thing is impeding my personal development, my personal growth, is impeding me from expressing the voice that God gave me because one person said no. This is something I hear these stories so often. So ladies, we have to break out of those boxes. We have to break loose from those chains of the things that people have said. And we have to embrace the truth. Whose truth? God's truth. Because he is the potter. He is the one that instilled in me all the things that I'm passionate about getting out. I didn't pull that out of the air. He put that in there. And that means that if all it is practice, removing a few commas, he can work with that. But to get dead in the dirt and not move forward, absolutely not. So let's step into power and authority. And I want to give you secret one. All right, ladies, I'll see you next time. Secret number one. Secret number one. This is big. Stop trying to impress people. Stop. It is a trap. Instead, start trying to make impact. Stop trying to impress. Start trying to make impact. When we're trying to impress, literally the motive is so skewed that God can't even use it. Now it's about you. The false belief is that to stand out, I need to say what people want me to say or what people want to hear. Absolutely not. The truth is that impact lasts so much longer than impressions. Like, you can be somebody who's really good at making first impressions. Have you ever met somebody like that? Like, they're just really great at making first impressions. And so you believed whatever they were selling, hook, line, and sinker. Have you ever heard that with the network marketing? They say, are you picking up what I'm putting down? You picking up what I'm putting down? You picked up what they put down, right? But upon further examination, you started to see that's not the real them. That's not how they really show up. Who's that? Who's this person? Right? So the truth is that impact lasts longer than an impression. Impact is long-term. Impression is a moment in time. That's why they say first impressions make a first impression. That's important. It sticks with you. It sticks with you in the memory, yeah. But those impressions, those moments, I mean, think about social media. How long does you could do a whole campaign for a month. How long do those impressions last? Matter of fact, analytics are in the form of impressions. Those impressions last for moments. But impact lasts. The thing about impact, though, is that it's God that gives you the tenacity and the perseverance to continue through things with your authenticity to create impact. And there's something interesting that happens when you go from, trying to please the crowd or saying the things that people want to hear or whatever it is that you're trying to do to serve your purpose. When you show up with authenticity, and you show up with a heart to serve, that's when the impact takes place. Authenticity actually links and it causes the emergence of impact because you're showing up so authentically you. So here's a question, and I want you to write this down. Well, don't write it down. Just ask yourself, how can you in your voice bring transformation to someone else? And I'm not even talking about major things. I'm talking about day to day. If you go to work and you're in a cubicle and the person next to you they just complain all day long. Woe is me, this, that, and a third. You ever met somebody like that? Like everything is a complaint. And you never said a word. You never shed any light. You never opened your mouth and had perspective. Could you say something that brings transformation to someone else's life? Think about that. What about, at home, with your kids, whatever the struggle, or young kids, older kids, what can you impart that can make a major transformation in somebody else's life? Your husband, your friends, it doesn't matter. Okay. So I do want you to write it down. Okay. Write down one area where you've been more focused on impressing others than making an impact. Just be transparent. Write down one area in your life. We're not going to share it. I'm not going to do a roundabout, but I just want you to be transparent with yourself. What area have you been more focused on impressing others than making an impact? Okay. And I'm going to give you a second to write that, because as we begin to uncover those things that hinder us, it creates space for breakthrough. Okay. I mean, I think about myself. I mean, I'm happy to be transparent as you're writing that down. I mean, I tell you, like, it's hard to be in the spotlight. It's hard to be in the spotlight. And I hope that as I'm sharing this, none of you were at this moment, but I don't know. But there was a time when I became super vulnerable because I just wanted it to stop. And there was a circumstance that happened at one of our last chance weekends, and I was so embarrassed. And what happened is that Hassani was joking around, but he was joking around about how we met. And I just remember thinking, like, I have told him so many times not to do this. Why is this still funny? This is not funny. But what I would typically do is he, ha, 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 laugh it off. I would typically just laugh it off, and I would, push down the embarrassment, and I would just go with the flow, and just, inside I was crumbling and broke into bits and pieces. But on this instance, I said, I can't fake this. I can't fake it anymore. And I don't even remember what I said, but I probably was just like, that ain't funny. I don't even know. I don't remember. I don't remember, but I'll tell you one thing. Whatever I said, the whole room knew that it wasn't funny to me, and that hurt me. And I was super transparent about that in that moment. And guess what? It never happened again. And so I learned through trial and error, and we all do, right? That at some point in life, in various areas of our lives, we have to make a concerted effort to take off the mask and put it down. This is something that we must do in various areas of our lives. Why are you laughing at the joke if it's not funny? Why are you agreeing with the people when you disagree? Right? So it's for us to show up authentically. It's a boundary that we set. It's how we teach people how to treat us. We have to stop trying to impress. We have to stop trying to put on the facade and the mask, and we have to be about impact. And that impact could be impact that's going to affect me in my future, so that I never have to experience something ever again, and or it will impact others, so that others are empowered to say, hey, I could be that. Does that make sense? All right. So secret number 2. Uh-oh, checking my time. Janella hasn't said anything to me yet, so I think I might be okay. And let me just check the chat real quick and see what y'all talking about. Hey, Andrea, I see you. Renee, hey, sweetheart, I see you. I see you. There's a lot. I'm not going to go here, but I just want to say hey to everybody. Hey to everybody. And I'm happy that you're here. Stick with me to the end because I really do want to share a couple things. All right. So secret number 2. Secret number 2. This is powerful. Okay. This is big. This is big. Speak from your scars, not just your successes, y'all. Write that down. Speak from your scars, not just your successes. The false belief is that people will only listen to me if I seem perfect. Biggest lie ever. Biggest lie ever. People actually connect more with our humanity than our perfection. People connect more when you're failing and falling down, falling on your face, and you get up. Like when people jack up big time and get up and act like nothing happened, it's just like, girl, right? You know that hurt. You know your knee is bleeding. Stop playing. But when we can be like, that hurt me, what you said and what you did, how that happened, that hurt me. That is where people connect. People connect more with our flaws and our imperfections. People connect more with our idiosyncrasies because we all have them. So I don't feel like a handicap because I'm like you, you're with like me. This is how we find our champions. Those that are, shouting whatever from the rooftops, you're resonating with that person, right? That vulnerability, it builds trust, it builds connection. I think about even Jesus, right? I mean, Jesus was Jesus. He could have been like, Shazam, and everybody would have just been gone who were after him, but he didn't. He allowed them to put him on the cross, right? And John 20:27 talks about how Jesus showed the disciples his scars. He showed the scars, which is major because he showed, look, I went through this. This is what I've been through. I'm not Jesus. I'm perfect. And bam, 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 and follow me. I guess he could have done that. He could have been like the man, everybody would have been like, wow, Jesus, like, whoo, like nobody can touch you. But he showed his vulnerability. He allowed them to hang them on the cross, which was their corporal punishment at that time. Like if you did wrong, you went up on that cross, and Jesus did too. So he showed his what? Humanity. And that's where the connection hit. He was able to connect with the man who was on the cross with him, right? Who was, I don't know, I think he stole or something, whatever the case may be. He said, you'll be in paradise shortly, brother. Like, that's somebody getting down on their knees and saying, I'm here, I'm with you. Not on their knees, he was on the cross. But, we could see that in our lives, how when we encounter people, we could be high and haughty and mighty and be like, if I were you, I would blah, 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 you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. Or we could get down on our knees and we could get down on the floor where somebody is falling down who's crying and in pain and say, I get it. I've been there. I've experienced those challenges. And it's okay. It's okay for you to feel broken right now. It's okay for you to have uncertainty right now. It's okay for you to be in pain right now. It's okay. It's okay. I'm here with you. I understand. And let me share with you how I got back up, right? Our challenges inspire others. Our challenges are the fabric of our unique voice. I can't use your unique voice. I got to use mine. I got to go with my fabric, what's been woven into me throughout my life. And so do you. I think the challenge is that we discredit our own voice, that it's not enough because it's not like their voice. It's not what they're saying or doing. No, because they've already got that covered. That's their life. You've got to embrace what you have created or what God has created within you. You've got to embrace the fabric of your life, every single bit of it, and give it up and redeem it. I got another assignment for you. I want you to write something down. Okay. I want you to write down a challenge. This is another honest moment. A challenge or failure you've overcome that could encourage someone else. Write down a challenge or failure you've overcome that could encourage someone else. Okay? Write that down. Like, what lesson from some personal scar can you share to build trust or connection? Some personal scar that you have, right? And we know now, most of us have gone through unearthed. We can't bury those things, right? We know that now. We know that we can't bury them because just like a tooth or a bad root canal, it just starts throbbing and aching and getting rotten and just festers and causes other emotional problems. So we gotta let that scar breathe. We gotta let that wound breathe and let it heal well to become a scar. And then we show the people the scar. You see that right there? You see that? Have you ever seen that in a movie where somebody's like showing all their scars, like a little boy and like he's, what is that thing? Boy Scouts. He's like, yeah, I got this when I was wrestling my dog, and I got this one and I fought a snake, and I got this one, and that's their testimony. And you got a testimony, and somebody really needs it. And you can only give it authentically, with the right heart, not haughty, not bragging, but this is me, like the song that I love. Thinking about as you're writing that down, and just let it flow out, keep writing if other things bubble to the surface. Just so many scars I've shared with y'all. The things that you see as a child, you can't unsee. I saw something on television, and I'm like, oh my God, that was me. And it was a show, and there was a little girl, and her mother and father got into a big old fight, and they were hollering and screaming. And at the end of the fight, the show is called Maids. At the end of the fight, they didn't know where the daughter was. The daughter's like 5 or 6. They didn't know where she was. She was MIA, gone. And when they went crazy looking and couldn't find her, and it got quiet, they heard like little clicking or sniffing in the cupboard under the sink. And that's what I used to do. I used to run and go under the sink whenever I heard the hollering and the screaming, and I knew it was about to get bad. As a kid, I would just go get under that cupboard, and I would sit there just like that. And for many of us, that's how we cope, by just blocking it out and shutting out all the noise, right? We've got to learn from these scars so that when we see somebody else struggling with that, we get it. We can go right to where they are and say, it took a revelation for me to recognize I needed to work on that when I was like 28, and I just became overwhelmed. I did not know that thing was buried under the surface in me still from when I was a 6-7-year-old girl. And I got so overwhelmed by crying, screaming babies. And my husband was out of town, and I did not have family to call or anybody to support me, to give me a break and say, girl, I got this. Go lay down, take a nap. You're tired. None of that. And I just put the baby in the crib, walked away. Both babies. I think one was a toddler. Wherever they were at, one was in the crib, one was in the bed. I went into the smallest little closet space I could find. And I was just like that. And I remembered 6- and 7-year-old Danielle. And I said, oh my gosh, this is a problem. I got to work on this. See, your body, your spirit, your soul, your mind, it will give you signals. Things will bubble to the surface throughout your life. You've just got to let it go. What we do is we shove it right on back down. I'll just keep that coping mechanism right there for when I need it, instead of working those things out, right? And part of working it out is offering it up as your testimony. That's your authentic voice, sharing all the crazy of your stories. Everything that you've been through, all of it is useful to God when he wants to use it. Now, does that mean you just become a blabbermouth every time you come around? Let me tell you about my stories, y'all. Well, let me tell you what I've been through every time you get together with friends and family. No. I said it's for the master's use. He knows, and he'll let you know. This is the moment. I need you to talk to this person right here. Has that ever happened to anybody? Hit me up in the chat if you've ever just been minding your business and you just heard the Spirit say, I need you to say this to that person. I'm just curious. Does the Lord talk to y'all like that? Or is it just me? Hit the chat up. All right. Secret number 3. This is powerful. Ask God to reveal, not just to refine. And we're always doing that. Lord, refine me, correct me, show me, fix me. But he wants you to ask him to reveal. Reveal, not just refine it. The false belief is that I need to refine myself to be better. And it's interesting. I was having a conversation with Hassani today. I'm looking in the chat to see if y'all respond. I was having a conversation. Okay, I see you, Monica. Yes. Thank you, Janelle. I see you on Great with Time. Thank you. And Hassani I was saying to Hassani, like, this is the toiling of life. The toiling of life. Like, I could ask God to make it better, make me better, help me this, help me that. The truth is, though, is that my voice is already powerful. It just needs revelation. And yours needs revelation, not perfection. Think about all the people in the Bible that God used that were unperfect. I talk to y'all about this a lot, especially individually and as one-on-one client moments. We've talked about embracing your perfections, your imperfections, and trying to awaken a revelation in you of what I see. Because what I see, oftentimes you can't see. It's clouded. Your perspective is clouded because it's shrouded in self-doubt and fear and what other people said, or your own disappointments, or your own, letdowns. Whatever happened in your story is almost like holding hostage the revelation of who you are in all of this, right? When you've gone through a lot of things in life, you're just talking about the things and you're feeling the things, but you're not necessarily acknowledging that in the process you've become resilient. Like, you're resilient, and resilience is a thing, because some people are not resilient, but it's hard to acknowledge, okay, I'm resilient. Or, somebody will come up to you and be like, you've been through so many things and you're so encouraging. You're such a motivator. I don't know how you do it. And you don't hear that. All you're focused on is all the things you've been through and what's weighing you down and holding you down. And you can't hear that you're an inspiration. You're motivating other people. All right. That's revelation. Motivating who? Who do I motivate, God? Ask God to reveal. What is my assignment with this motivation that you've given me? Because people here and there and everywhere come to me and they tell me I'm motivating. What do I motivate about? Who am I assigned to motivate? You may not be assigned to motivate, I don't know, business people. Maybe your assignment is to motivate the downtrodden, those who are struggling, who are fearful, who are doubtful. This is a great time, by the way, in the world to become a light. We've got a lot of dark talk going on. We have, not us, I'm just saying, the world has forgotten there is still a God on the throne. And you go into different circles and people are talking about doom, 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 doom. Have you forgotten? This is how the society, the depression comes on people, and people just feel so low, downtrodden, hopeless, suicidal, on meds, antidepressants, and everything else, because people become hopeless when there's nobody out here giving hope, speaking hope. There's still a God on the throne. Oh, and by the way, there's a book in the Bible called Revelations, if you want to jump to how the story ends. I mean, can we calm down? Okay, I'm not political. I'm just saying. Let's ask God to reveal, not just to refine. How am I supposed to use my voice, Lord? Who am I? Reveal to me what it is that you've given me. Okay? Because guess what? It's good just the way it is if you just give it up. There's so many, didn't Moses have a speech impediment and he was just as preaching as he could be? David, he was a murderer, a thief, a liar. He was all kinds of stuff, but God used him and turned him into the king. Just say yes to the voice he's giving you and allow him to refine it. And man, I get inspired when I see you all move and shake and do things. I just get inspired. I'm just like, yes, another one, a light bulb went off and they're off to be used by the master's voice, just the way they are. Most of us, a lot of people, because we don't use absolutes, a lot of people are stuck right at the starting line. That's where they've been at, stuck at the starting line, right? Waiting. The whistle blew. Others hit the pavement. They're running their race. Maybe they stumbled a couple times, fell down. Have you ever watched those races where people are running? There's some such inspiring races out there where people like are racing. It's like they're going 100 miles an hour. They're probably not, I don't know, but whatever speed they're going, they are running. And then all of a sudden they fall down or something. And what a moment to cave in and quit, because everybody else is going pew, pew, pew past you. Like if it were me, it takes me 20 minutes to get off the floor. In that case, like they got to get up and get back running and catch up. And then they do. And they pick up that baton and they keep running the race. What separates that person from the person that's still at the starting line, waiting for perfection, waiting for the perfect idealized outcome? It's acceptance that we're not supposed to be perfect, and perfection is a farce. It's something that you'll never ever attain, is perfection. So you better get busy working with what you got. Period. Whew, is this too much? I hope it's not. Is this too much? We need to get to the point where we're willing to shift our mindset. Shift it from God, make me better, to God, show me who I am. Show me who I am. And who I am today is not who I was yesterday. It's definitely not going to be who I am tomorrow, right? I'm just in my process. God is definitely refining. He's refining all of us that are willing, right? If you're willing to allow him to refine you, he's doing that. But you got to show up to the party, period. You got to show up to the party, okay? And allow it to take place in your life. Allow the needle to move, period. We need to learn to embrace that God-given voice instead of trying to fit into whatever societal molds there are. And there's plenty out there. There's a whole bunch of ideas, ideologies that are vying for your attention all right now. What are you going to pay attention to? Stop picking sides. Pick his side. He'll show you who you are. He'll tell you what side you're on. How about that? Pick his side. Ask him to reveal the truth to you. Period. All right. Now, here's the thing. I hope that wasn't harsh, because I talked to someone today and they told me, man, when I first met Hassani, I thought he was so stern. And then I realized he was just a soft cherry bomb on the inside. I'm like, that's true. And she was just like, you're the stern one. And I'm like, it's true. But my sternness is in love, and I'm fighting for what I believe in. And what I believe in is you. And I believe in the authority and the power that God instilled in you. And I believe that somebody needs to tell you who you are and rattle you a little bit and get you up and push you to move forward in whatever it is that God has revealed to you today to do. Your authentic voice is right here in the voice box. It's right here. It's nowhere else outside of you. You don't have to go looking for it, find it, nothing, no, nothing like that. It's right here. You just have to step into boldness and challenge yourself to speak it and to be it, to be willing to move and shake in those spaces that you've been afraid to do so. So when it comes to your authenticity and your voice and who you really are, you only need to look and examine the decisions that you've made in the past, what you've been interested in and how curious you are about things. There's other people just like you. And this whole life is about touching those people, touching the people that God assigned. God is in heaven. He's not here. You're his hands and feet. That means that he's going to touch, bless, restore all these people here on earth through you. So you better get busy learning where you fit. Where's your space? You don't have to chase down your purpose, your calling, your identity, your authenticity. If you just step into who you are, God will show you. He will point those things out when you step into your Godfidence. And last thing that I want to say about this, because I know we're running short on time and I want to share something with you real quick, is that none of us escape fear. Fear is ever present with us. And there are statistics on this that, the most successful people in the world, they were fearful, afraid of what? Rejection. Most of us are afraid to step into our authenticity because we fear that we'll be judged. We fear rejection from people, that it will be wrong. If sometimes God will be like, you'll think that God wants me to say this, or I need to say this, or this person needs that. And you've done that in the past. And the person was just like, that's way off. I don't need that. And so you're back in your box. You're fearful again. And so we don't do that for fear, but successful people step right up to fear and punk fear and say, I don't care what you think, say, I don't care how you feel right now, fear. I don't care how you feel right now, fear. I'm going to face the fear and do it anyway. And let the cards fall where they may. God will catch me because I'm doing what he called me to do. And that is how you create impact. That is how you find your authentic voice and your authentic self, by approaching things that feel awkward and uncomfortable and practicing and building those muscles in whatever way, shape, form, or fashion that is. Maybe for you, it's something at church you've been wanting to do. You've been wanting to do it, but Sister Sledgehammer has not invited you yet. What are you waiting on to invite yourself? Hey, Sister Sledgehammer, how can I serve? How can I serve? Is it on the job? This is something in your work that you love to do and you're really good at, but the boss hasn't noticed it yet because there's other people vying for his attention and you just off on the sidelines. Step up, say what you need to say. Or maybe it's somebody in your business that you encounter on a regular basis and there's just something about her. She would be perfect as an assistant or whatever the case. Guys, gals, I could go on and on. Step boldly into your authentic self by using authenticity and transparency to open up opportunities for you to soar, okay? And don't be so afraid of your scars that you feel that you need to hide them. Open up, reveal as the Lord leads, all right? Hey sis, I see that you're still here. Did that bless you? It really blessed me when I did that study and I learned that my voice is already authentic and unique and God is ready to use it as soon as I'm ready to release it and give it to him. And that's true for you too. If this message blessed you in any way and you know another sister that would be blessed by this word, go ahead and share it to her. Let's spread this message, okay? We're always waiting for someday, kicking the can down the street when God is saying, I'm ready when you are. I've already given you everything that you need for today, right? So let's continue to move forward and do what it is that God has called us to do. Also, do not forget to like and subscribe. That way you will not miss a show. And I can't wait to see you in the next episode. I'll talk to you all soon.